Hello, 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 and welcome to Her Vet Voice. So, many of you know we have been talking about the DBQ fraud situation and what is getting ready to take place as the VA decides to create this AI system to monitor DBQs. There has been some information that has been in the YouTube streets talking about if veterans are going to have to pay this money back or if they're going to be held um, in contempt and of what's happening. But anyway, um, I don't know really how to sugarcoat this by saying this is that the VA does not have veterans' best interests at heart. And if you, for one moment, think that the VA is going to allow you to pocket money that you have fraudulently obtained and you are going to sit comfortably at home and continue to spend this money and it's going to be okay, you are mistaken. You are not in your right mind and you are not currently living in the world that we're living in with this current administration. Because if you have been living under a rock, veterans compensation, everything concerning veterans has been diminishing since day one. So I created a little presentation. So let's talk about how the VA sees fraud, how fraud is looked at, what it entails. I'm going to show the OIG report a little bit and we're going to get into it. So let's talk about a couple of things. So, the Department of Veteran Affairs Disability Benefits regulation, when it comes to fraud, has some parameters in place. So it says for the Department of Veteran Affairs, VA disability benefits, the primary regulation covering the severance disconnection of a disability due to fraud are found in 38 CFR 3.957 and 38 CFR 3.105D. 35 CFR 3.957, service connection. This regulation states that service connection that has been in effect for 10 years or more will not be severed except upon a showing that the original grant was based on fraud. 38 CFR 3.105D, adjudication. This outlines the procedures for reduced or severed ratings, requiring that where a veteran's file has been in effect for 10 years, it cannot be reduced or severed without evidence of fraud. Notice, keyword here, fraud. The key aspects of fraudulent severance. The 10-year rule, why 38 CFR 3.957 protects ratings in place for 10 years. Fraud is the specific exception that allows the VA to sever the connection even after this period. Forfeiture. Under 38 CFR 3.901, if a veteran is found to have committed fraud, they may forfeit all benefits. Impact on dependents. Even if a veteran forfeits their rights to benefits due to fraud, dependents may still be entitled to benefits if they did not participate in the fraud as outlined in 38 CFR 3.904. Okay? Now, let's get into the next OIG report where we talk about what's getting ready to happen as time goes by. So, this was the OIG draft that they came up with when it came to talking about the DBQ fraud. If you look at the bottom of this, you can see January 4th, 2024. The VBA concurs that the OIG reports finding and provides the following comments in response to the recommendation. Recommendation one was the Office of Financial Management should continue to develop a system for digitally capturing, analyzing, and monitoring public questionnaires to identify inauthentic or potentially fraudulent questionnaires and work with compensation service to develop policies for reviewing and remediating any such public questionnaires identified. The VBA response was to concur with this and that they were going to continually improve the initial increment of capabilities of the DBQ dashboard by focusing on continued data extraction, report usability, and data cleansing for digitally capturing, analyzing, and monitoring public DBQs to identify potential fraud has been established. The OFM will partner with compensation services to share findings and best practices so that the policy can be defined and shared with claim processors. So the target completion date was to be determined. Okay. The next recommendation was for the Medical Disability Examination Office. They should update the examiner's certification and signature section found in the questionnaire to include that the form is being completed under the penalty of perjury and for examiners to list any organizations that requested they completed the examination on the claimant's behalf. The VBA response was to concur with the MDEO, and they will update the examiner's certification and signature section on public disability benefits questionnaire. However, the new process for publishing the form to public-facing internet sites require a compliance audit and approval by the VA Section 508 office, as well as separate publishing process by the VBA Office of Communication. Due to the volume of the public DBQs, the compliance auditing process would take a significant amount of time. The MDEO expects to submit the updated DBQ to the Section 508 office. This was in March for the 1st of 2024. The next recommendation was the compensation service should provide claim processors guidance within the procedures manual on how to identify the potential fraudulent public DBQs and provide the steps they should take when it's suspected that a public questionnaire may be inauthentic or potentially fraudulent. The VBA response was to confer, and the compensation section of the M21-1, the adjudication procedures manual with guidance on how to identify potentially fraudulent questionnaires and provide steps to claim processors should take when it's suspected that the DBQ may potentially be fraudulent or inauthentic. Okay, so I said all that to say this. If you, for one reason, think that the VA is going to allow you to commit fraud, submit a fraudulent DBQ, sit at home comfortably with the money that you have made fraudulently based on the form that was submitted, be it examiner, be it provider, be it veteran, whoever it may be that submitted the fraudulent DBQ, and you are not going to have to face any type of ramifications. I'm not sure if you are living under a rock, but I guarantee you that whoever committed the fraud in reference to the DBQs are going to have to pay in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And yes, they could be some veterans who had no idea that their DBQ was done under fraudulent measures. Yes, there are going to be some veterans who didn't even know that this was happening, but they are going to get the short end of the stick. Some veterans are going to suffer for the actions of others who were disingenuous. It is a very bad situation. Whatever is happening currently with this whole DBQ fraud, it is horrible. It's not a good thing. But I just want to come here today to let you know that the VA is not going to allow you to collect money under fraud pretenses, and you are going to keep that money and live comfortably while they just decided to just shove it under a rock and you are going to go on your way. So that was just my little thought process on how this thing is going to go. Obviously, they haven't come up with what is about to happen and what process they're going to go through when it comes to the fraudulent DBQs, if veterans are going to be held accountable, if they're going to face prison time, if they're going to pay fines, whatever the case may be. But I guarantee you that based on the administration that we are currently under, any veteran who has committed fraud or involved in any type of fraud pretenses to fraud the government will not sit at home comfortably just twiddling their thumbs. So that's just my little piece on it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will definitely see you around soon. Take care.
You're not alone. You got a voice. Stand strong, stay informed.